Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Here we are, Wednesday, the 9th day of November 2022. You know the drill, share the live. Let me inform you very early. My colleague, Mr. Conway, will be getting some technical issues again to join the program. But you know the program, as we said, the program will go on. So share the live, let them know that we are on. Even if I have to go it alone, I will go it alone today. But I'm expecting Mr. Conway to join us shortly so that we too can take you through, because we have a lot of stuff to discuss. Share the live. I know some people may have been caught by the time change. I've been getting all morning people have been asking what wrong with the program, what is going on, because there's a time change in New York, and the New York Eastern Standard Time is 1 hour behind Guyana time. So 11 o'clock, I send a notification to say that we'll start the usual time at 11 a.m. However, because of the time change, that will be midday, 12 o'clock in Guyana. So maybe some people did not get the notification, people did not get the memo. So people have been calling to find out what is going on with the program, because they were on at 11 o'clock Guyana time, which was 10 o'clock New York time. But it's 11, we said 11 New York. We're going to stick to the 11 o'clock, which is 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Because, in the US, there are several time zones. And I understand, I know too, people from Jamaica, people from all over Europe and other places are on different time zones. So we use the Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. And as I've said, that is 1 hour behind Guyana. So Guyana now is 12 o'clock. So those of you in Guyana, adjust your timings. It's going to be 12 o'clock. And in New York, it's going to be the same 11 o'clock. Somebody saying no song. Can you hear me? If you can't hear me, indicate to me, please. Somebody is indicating here no song. So let me hear if people can hear me. Maureen saying no song. Let me wait for feedback. Are you hearing me? If you're hearing me, just indicate in the column that you're hearing me so that I can continue. I don't want to be speaking to myself. As I indicated, Mr. Conway having some problem in joining. Somebody said the song is good. Loud and clear, Isabella, loud and clear. So the person who indicated no song, check your system. Harriet, check your system to make sure. I think the problem is at your end. I'd like to give the early shout out to our early boards. This morning, early board, we had Natasha G at 9:36. I don't know if it's Guyana time or if it's Eastern Standard Time, but she was on at 9:36. Then we had Anthony J at 9:54. Kodawashi, I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. Kodawashi B was here at 9:58. We have Natasha D at 9:59. Then we have Patricia G at 10:11. Vibort, you came in this morning at number 6 at 10:25. So people are here very early, anxious to hear the news. And then we had John R. from Clarksville, Tennessee at 9:32. We had Princess from Lamar Springs. She came in at 10:49. And we had Kevin came in after Derek T. Derek is now a regular in the program. He came in 11 minutes. George, countryman, you come in late, but you come well, not late. You didn't come first or second. We come 11:13. And we had Barbara from Virginia at 11:30. Raul, you say you come early, you don't want CB and all that type of thing. You came in here. You early 11. What time you came? You came at 11:33. Welcome to one and all. Then we had Gavin Jake. Jakey came in at 11:42. And we have Colin from Orlando, Florida at 11:43. I'm a Jamaican friend, Dudley. Dudley, you came in at 11:49. And then we had Matthew J at 11:50. Welcome to one and all. Cara, let me run through and see all those who are here. Regulars. We have Melissa, Kim, welcome, Isabella, June, Squaddy Doreen, all the way from Canada, Jeanette, Elise, you're here, my dear, you're here very early. Cheryl, Jacko is here, Orin, Lado, welcome, Raul C is here, JK, I called you already, you're here. And so many people are here just waiting and ready to go. I'm giving you some time. I'm hoping Mr. Conway can join. He has not been able to join us yet, even though we spoke on the phone. He says he's trying to get on. Some problem. The gremlins are at work, I guess. Charles G, welcome. Isabella, welcome. Denise, Melissa, Davina, Maureen said no song. Maureen, check your system because other people are saying that they're hearing me loud and clear. Check your system, please. Savitri, Sarah, Grace, Roy, Rita. Abdon, the man Abdon always here very early. Esikibo man from Esikibo, Diane, Chris, Joan, Carol, Roy, and you're all here, man. Everybody here. I'm checking the list. If you don't hear your name, you hear Gary, old cricketer, man. My half spinner from back in the TSU days. Welcome. Good to see you, Gary. Ulrich is here as usual. Ulrich, I hope you like me. I got up this morning early and watched the cricket. New Zealand and Pakistan destroyed New Zealand. So I have to say to a friend, those of you following cricket, we're going to have at the end of this tournament, someone else joining the West Indies as a two-time T20 World Cup champion, because all three teams that are remaining in the competition, India, England, and Pakistan, have already won once. So somebody will join West Indies as a two-time winner of the World Cup. Dudley, well, you're hearing me loud and clear. Good. Frankie Squaddy, good to see you, Squaddy. Always here. Joan, Sharon, Tasha, welcome, Tasha. Welcome. Somebody telling you, David, something about Assistant Commissioner Thomas during election, advocate for the rights of policemen and women. So I'm going to look at what you said there. Vaughn is here. Sandra, everybody's saying loud and clear. So though anyone who's not hearing me, check your system. Make sure that you can, your audio is working properly. Now, let me say this. Ellie's talking about she's here, no Form 830 for you. But Ellie's how the thing that's gone out in the system that you don't even have to commit yourself to get a Form 830. Somebody watching there like you and they make up something and you get charged it and then they do you like the cowboy. They give you a fair trial and hang you in the morning. So that is Fernando Sancho style. So you don't have to necessarily, we are not going to do that. But I'm just warning you that how the system goes now, you don't have to commit yourself to be charged. Somebody just decided that you must be charged and you are charged. Okay, Maureen, you can hear now. Good. I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to know that you're back. Then we have Beverly from West Dem. And all the people are here. Let me say to you again, I'm still waiting on Mr. Conway. I don't know what is the problem with Mr. Conway this morning. We spoke on the phone, but he is not getting to log in to the system. I don't know what is the reason. But let me tell you this. I am being convinced more and more. I am convinced that Mr. Conway just messaged me that he's still not getting through. So I am convinced that people are interfering with the program. I am convinced. They don't want to hear the truth. So I am convinced that they are messing with the program. Oren, all the way from the UK. Welcome, Oren. Welcome. Sister Carol, welcome, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you on the program. Eric from Brooklyn in the house. Eric is saying. But yeah, people are messing with the program. People are messing. They don't want to hear the truth. We have Leighton from Tennessee is here as well. They don't want to hear the truth. And I see Paul is here, my namesake. Belated birthday greetings to you, Paul. I know yesterday was your natal day, and you're here all the way from Canada. Regular in the program. You told me over the past 2 weeks you wanted because you were out of the country, you had some issues. I hope you have been able to overcome those the challenge. Terrence all the way from Canada is out. There's another regular. Aileen. John Shartman, good to see you, man. Good morning, John. Good morning. Timolin, welcome. Tessa, regular. Leon is here as well. Now, let me go in. As I said, if I have to go it alone again this morning, I will go it alone. I don't know what is the reason that Mr. Conway can't get on. Before the last, we had the issue, can't hear him. We checked out the system last week, it was okay. And then now again, this morning, from very early, he has been trying for the longest while, and he can't get on. Angela from Belgium, welcome, welcome. He has been trying for the longest while, and he cannot get on. As I said, hold on, he's calling me. Let me hear what he's saying here now. Hold on. Yeah, folks, sorry about that. That was Mr. Conway. He's telling me he's getting difficulties to get onto the program. He has tried everything and he's still ain't getting through. Well, as I said, I am sure people are messing with the system. They don't want to hear the truth, but the truth will be told. The truth will be told. Out front parts is there. Out front parts is there. Claremont is here as well. Now, we have Rajendra from Minnesota. He's in the house. He's in the house. So, some other people conforming that they're messing with this thing, they don't want to hear what's going on. But that's not going to deter me. That's not going to deter us from telling the truth. We have John from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is here in the house. So people from all over. The truth must be told. Terrence is saying, is the zombie board? It's more than the zombie board, man. It is more than the zombie board. Adi Mac, good to see you here again. I know that you're always here from Brooklyn, New York, right? Canty, watch it, you're late, Canty, you're going to get trouble. You are going to get trouble. Roxanne is here. Mark, world cricketer Mark from Tennessee is in the house. So we have Michigan, Odessa from Michigan in the house. And we are Miami. Gordon from Miami is in the house. Vibot from East Bank is in the house as well. So we're gonna get going. Now let me say, we like to say, Keith is here. Maury, welcome. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. As I've said, we need to celebrate being in the land of the living. We need to celebrate. Every day we open our eyes. We need to give thanks and praise to the Almighty. Many of us don't go down on our knees and clasp our hands and close our eyes and pray, but we believe. We believe, and we believe in doing the correct thing. We believe in doing the correct thing. I believe in telling the truth and speaking truth to power, regardless of what they say, regardless of what they do. That is what we believe in. We have Paul from Toronto, Canada is in the house as well. So people from all over. Now, let me say last week, we normally, after giving praise and thanks, we normally, we don't like to do it, but we have to tell you about those who have not been fortunate to see the new day. Yesterday, I learned of the passing of Woman Sergeant Miller. I think they said she was stationed at Bartica. People have expressed surprise because I don't know, apparently she wasn't healing for any period. I don't know the details, but Woman Police Sergeant Miller passed yesterday. She was stationed at Bartica. I know there are more than one Woman Police Sergeant Miller. I remember there was one detective. Not she, I'm not referring to she. This is, I don't know her first name and all of that, but this one was stationed, I understand, at Bartica, and she passed yesterday. And last week, I announced the passing of retired Senior Superintendent Simon. Well, I got some details. Retired Senior Superintendent Cedric Emerson Simon. He was 92 years. He passed recently in the States. And the information is that his service will be on Friday the 11th. That is Friday coming in Brooklyn. St. Barnabas Church, 725 Belmont Avenue. They say the viewing will be from 4 to 6 and service to follow thereafter. So I want again to express condolences to all those persons, the relatives of the persons who have passed, relative friends and colleagues of those persons, and say, the usual thing, may their souls rest in peace and rise in glory. At this stage, I had intended to bring in Mr. Conway for us to start the discussion, but I will be here and I'm going to start the button. Now, the first thing I want to, I have been talking about the police corporate communications unit and the unprofessional job that they have been doing. I noted in the past maybe 2-3 weeks, they weren't as prolific in their releases. In other words, they weren't making that many releases. So I suspect they get bored. They're writing so much of stupidness that people might have called them up and say, hey, you can't continue to do that, right? But then again, they always seek to outdo themselves. So recently you had this incident at Oranduke Falls where New York police officer, unfortunately, I think he went there with his family and he drowned. He drowned, very unfortunate incident. He's of Guyanese extraction. I don't know if he's born in Guyana. But then the police corporate communication unit issued a statement. They say, hey, what they say? They drowned at Oranduke on October the 30th. They really said that he was a technician of Lot 164 4th Street, Alexander Village, Georgetown. They later issued a correction saying that it is confirmed that he was actually a New York police officer. Now, the question is, what type of checks you make before issuing these releases? What kind of check? The corporate communication unit of the Guyana Police Force, a New York police officer drowns in Guyana, and you are saying that he's from Alexander Village. He's a technician. They give lot number and everything, and then later on they come back to say, well, that is the information they got. Well, yeah, you get information, but you have to verify. This man was there in company, we understand, with his girlfriend or his wife who was celebrating a birthday. He was there with other people. How difficult would it have been for you to find out the proper details, the name of the person and all of that? How difficult? And these are the things, this type of unprofessional things that we talk about. The corporate communications unit of the Guyana Police Force. Minister, I know people listening. I know you get people recording to report to you what is said on this program. I know other agencies in the government and the police, they too listen. And I am saying with all of these major blunders, it's time you get other people to head this corporate communication unit, because the civilians that are employed there, they ain't making no sense. They ain't doing no justice to the police. They ain't doing no justice to Guyana. Because when you make a release like this that goes all over the place, the man is a technician from Alexander Village, you give lot number and all of that. So you came by this information, and then you're going to correct and say, well, that is the information that was supplied to you. But even when the information is supplied to you, there's something called due diligence. You have to check to make sure that the information you're going to give to the public is accurate information. And I hear the people drawing big money, I hear they're drawing big money to be writing all this incorrect rubbish. Remember, up to now, the one that takes the cake, even though they have others that are rivaling, the one that takes the cake for me is the one where the man at the decomposed body in West Demerara was found, and they said the body was taken to the West Demerara regional hospital to be officially pronounced dead. So they're implying that a decomposed body could have been alive. And I am not making these things up. I am not making such a what checks. I know they have civilians running the place, and I know they have police officers in the unit, but the police officers that are there are inexperienced. They don't know policing. They don't know the basic stuff. So when something comes to them, they can immediately pick up that something wrong. If you have experienced police, people who know what policing procedure, will immediately be able to say, hey, look, something can make no sense here. How are you carrying a decomposed body to be pronounced dead? Right? That is the type of rubbish you have going on. So I believe it's time for them to go. Now, the next thing here, I'm sorry I can't get Mr. Conway, man. You tell him to try, you're going to keep trying. Then you had a release of the police. The police went in Barbies, went in search of some wanted man. The police in Barbies went in search of some wanted man. The man escaped. The police arrested the 3 cage birds in there. There were 3 cage birds in the house. And the police, well, they arrested, they took away the 3 cage birds to the station. That is what they did. And let me tell you this, because those people who know me well know that I was a board man. In other words, I used to mine, what we say, I had a mine or rare cage birds. So I know cage birds. I suspect that these birds maybe are tau, because in the Barbies River, is a kind of a finch for those who are not familiar with it. Very expensive cage board. Many people traveling from Guyana to New York have over the years tried to smuggle these boards in all kind of fashion into New York, because once they get there and you get them tame and they start to whistle, especially the whistle, the right whistle, because they have what we call the Chinese whistle. And the board people will know what I'm talking about. It goes for a lot of money, thousands of dollars for one board. So be careful when you take up board from the man house and carry to the station. Next thing you know, who can provide seeds for the board? That is what they feed on. And if you get a board man at the station, be careful next thing you know the switch. Because when a board switch out, it is difficult. You got to be a real expert in boards to know that this is a different board from this one. Because they can know the thing. If it's a brown, they bring a same brown. If it's a spotted, they bring a same spotted. If it's a black and white. So you have to be careful when you hear police arrested or seizing or whatever you want to call it, boards from this place that the wanted man get away from, and they took it to the station. And then the next thing they say is that, you can't make these things up, man. I tell you, I got to read. I get a good laugh when I see this thing. But it is serious because it speaks to the competence of these people. It speaks to the competence of these people. They say, Martin, remember we reported some time ago that the police patrol butcher the cow at the side of the road. Butcher the cow. This is a cow that was struck down by a minibus. And they say a patrol passed and advised the owner of the bus to go to the station to make a report. He did so. And when he returned to the scene, all he found was blood and remnants of the cow. And some neighbor brought a video to show them police with cutlass, as the corporate communication would say, machete, butchering this cow. Somebody apparently was trying to follow up on the matter. They said the police who, and this is what the people said, the police who were caught chopping up a dead cow. They were caught chopping up this dead cow. They are under close arrest or open arrest at the TSU. And I said to a colleague of mine, well, they're wrong because the cow was in fact dead. But if you're saying that the police were chopping up a dead cow, then you're implying then people just chop up a live cow. So the thing sounds so comical. Again, nobody vets these things properly, or even the people who are vetting it, partly then get basic common sense to make sure that when you write these things and you send it out there for the public consumption, that the thing. Yeah, Canty, I was a board man. I used to rear cage boards. That's what I mean. When I say board man, I know some of you with the wicked minds and wicked thinking and interpret it all the way. I used to rear cage board, tower in particular. And even now, people would meet me, those board men, and ask me if I still get boards. I said, no, I don't rear boards. I stopped long now. Because those cage boards require a lot of time. If you really want a good tower in particular, really whistling on a racing board, you want to make sure that you spend a lot of time with them, with a tonic, and you walk them out. They got to walk out. You can't just hang them up at home. So you have to have time to do that. So yes, I was a board man. So let me explain what I mean by being a board man. So all of you who thinking all kind of things, I hope I have clarified that I used to mine cage board, tower, fire red, I even had mountain canary and all of that. I love cage boards. I grew up back in the day in the country. We used to catch moustache, whether it's plain head or flat. I know a lot. I got a good youthful days. I had a good small days. So, Canty, come again. Now, let me ask somebody, all sort of information has come. So let me ask the question. And the man who records at the minister's office, this is a question that's been asked of the hierarchy of the police force. Who is the senior officer in Borbies who last Sunday, a couple days ago, Sunday night, they alleged to have been breaking bottles? Apparently he was drunk, breaking bottles and threatening people with a firearm at a food court at Albion. This Sunday night. I understand the thing is a big ush up. The ushing and the ushing. I ask the question, who is the senior? And when I say senior is in the context of police. Because the civilian will say, if you're a sergeant, you're an inspector, they call you a senior officer. No. I'm talking about a senior gazetted officer. I use in the context police-wise. Find out who is the person. Breaking up bottles at a food court in Albion Sunday night. Then he brandishing firearm and threatening people and all of that. I understand now that the whole thing is being covered down, which is a regular stuff, covering down. The thing is being covered. So I asked him that. Now, come to this, I think it was Saturday afternoon, there was a fatal accident. Well, there were several fatal accidents over the past couple of days, but I'm referring to the one involving a vehicle belonging to the Ministry of Works, the ministry that Bishop Edgil is the minister. The information is there was this convoy coming down, I think they said proceeding west, coming down from Borby's, coming from, so proceeding west along the East Coast. Struck and killed a man. Hear out the thing though. Based on the report, a vehicle in the minister's convoy struck this man, pitched him, he was on I think he was a cyclist, pitched him into the path of another vehicle, and the man died. It has been suggested, it has been alleged that the minister was in either that vehicle or one of the other vehicles in the convoy. People say that one of the first things people in the convoy did was to try to remove the license plate from the vehicle that was involved. So they don't want the vehicle to be linked. People see that is a minister or the ministry vehicle kill this man, right? But then the police, again, the Corporate Communication Unit issued a release saying that, well, this convoy, and then they made a point to note that they had siren and flashing light coming down. In other words, they're saying that everybody should have moved out of the way and let these people pass. But there are several questions, and policemen who are listening, listen carefully. There are several questions to be asked. Given what is reported that a vehicle in the minister's convoy struck this man, right? Pitched him into the path of another vehicle. 2 vehicles were involved. They go on to say in the release, that the second vehicle, the driver of the second vehicle was arrested at the station. From the information, nothing happened to the driver who initially caused this accident. That is the driver in the minister's convoy. He is the one who struck the man and pitched him into the path. So how come you're only arresting the other man? Because from all indication, the other man might not have been driving dangerous. What could he have done? He driving, coming, a vehicle not come out, throw into the path, he struck the man as well. You arrest one man, and the one man at some stage, I don't know if you put in bail or what. Then the question, when you have vehicles, when you have accidents like that involving multiple vehicles, attacking now as an ex-2-time traffic chief, there's always the issue as to which vehicle caused the death. You can't be sure that it's the first vehicle. You can't be sure it's the second vehicle. And I'm sure that if this matter is properly laid out and put, you'll hear inquest. But the issue is, why arrest the second driver and have him in custody? If you're going to arrest, you got to arrest both. If you're going to arrest, you have to arrest the driver of the minister vehicle. You have to address the other driver as well. Because based on what they're saying, the vehicle was, the man was initially struck by the vehicle in the minister's convoy. That's the government vehicle, and pitched into the path of the other vehicle. And I believe it is very unfair for them to have arrested this one man. And then the thing, somebody's saying here that the man was put on $100,000 bill. So what happened to the driver of the minister's vehicle who caused the accident? What happened? And that's the unfairness in the system. That is the unfairness in the system. The man, the second man, obviously some poor man, yeah, must get no contact. So that is what took place there. One vehicle in the convoy, and the police release, how they're coming down with siren blazing and flashing light. In other words, they're saying to you that they had enough, whoever was there had enough time. But let me tell you what the lie is in respect to that. That even when a vehicle, emergency vehicles, let's understand this clearly according to the law. Emergency vehicles are police vehicles with siren and flashing light, fire service vehicles, and ambulances. That is the only 3 categories of emergency vehicles I know. And the law is clear that even when an emergency vehicle with flashing light and siren is driving along the roadway, The driver has a responsibility to proceed carefully. Not, for example, you're coming into an intersection, you can't just blow through the intersection. You have to pause, make sure that it is safe. You're going through a red light, for example, you have to do that. You can't just drive through a red light at full speed and expect that everybody will stop and give you way because you have siren and flashing light. That is the law. You approach an intersection, you have to exercise due care, consideration. You have to be cautious. Because again, let's be practical. A man get the green light, you're coming through. You're in a vehicle, the windows ready up, your AC on, you're playing a little music or you listen to little news, right? You can't guarantee that the person is going to hear that vehicle blaring coming through. So the driver of that emergency vehicle has a legal responsibility to make sure that he or she approaches an intersection with caution. He has a responsibility to make sure that if you're driving through an area where you have people on the roadside, as frequently happens in Guyana and all those places, you have to be cautious. You have to be cautious. And then again, the question has been asked, what emergency, the blaring coming through with siren. And remember, we addressed this issue here on this program where every time Dick Biari now gets siren. A few weeks ago, the minister, they had a, what they call a campaign to deal with drivers with flashing lights and I guess siren. And I made the point about these campaigns. The campaigns come out for a day or two, and then they make some big propaganda or public relations statement, and it's back to square one. But what type of example is the government vehicle, the minister in the convoy at this stage setting? Why was there a need for them to be blazing through with siren and all that? There's a question for them to answer. I am almost certain there was no engagement, of no urgent engagement that requires that. And as the woman, there was a woman on social media the same night, Indian woman, who she was very articulate and saying that, I mean, it was unfair, they're blazing. Where are they going with all that speed? I didn't see it in terms of the driving, but she was saying, she said she just witnessed the accident. Where are they going with all that speed? If you have to go someplace, leave in sufficient time to get there, driving at a safe speed. But that's what we have. That is a problem you have. And, you know, as I've said, look, watch and see what is going to happen. Watch and see what's going to happen. This is going to be swept. I am certain. If I were a betting man, I can tell you, they're going to go, and because there's multiple vehicles involved in the accident, they're going to say inquest. Hold an inquest to determine if anyone was criminally responsible. When I read about the accident and I saw the name, I thought it was an ex-man, the accident victim, the person who died, named Ramana from East Coast. So when I hear Ramana, I thought was this infamous Ramana that is in the news. But when I go read further, it is not him. But you know, all of you get a day we're gonna come. Our day will all come at some stage when we have to answer for all that we have done. And you know, many believers are here. You believe that you got to answer for the things that you have done, right? So I thought I'll address this issue with this accident. And there's not the only one. There over the weekend they had a few more accidents, murder, man, choppy wife, she bled to death, and all kind of craziness. And only yesterday again, you had the incident, unfortunate incident, where somebody in the Pomeroon River, apparently the president went up there, outreach or whatever it was, and some media workers and others were in another boat, not in the boat that the president was, according to the report, and somehow he drowned. Fell overboard. The whole boat, I understand, turned over, and this one man drunk because they're saying he had on life jacket. His daughter say he had on they say he had on life jacket. His daughter say he can swim, so they don't know how is it that he met his demise. Again, condolences to those persons, but these things can be very, very traumatic to the surviving relatives. I think they say he had 3 children, so my condolences go out to those persons. Lenny, you're late, so watch it. You're late, Lenny. You're late. You're late, Lenny. Well, you're asking a good question, Keith, whether the vehicle had police vehicles. I don't know. From the report, apparently there was no police vehicle escorting or leading the convoy. It was just the vehicles on the ministry. And again, the question can ask, if you want to examine it carefully, how those vehicles have flashing light and siren. But that is part of the lawlessness. That is part of the lawlessness, because the law doesn't provide for a vehicle of a minister to get siren and flashing light. They are not considered emergency vehicles. Or what I put it on, and the poor police on the road, they can't do nothing. It's clear the road. Clear the road, let the people come through. Clear the road, let the convoy come through. And that is what we would have had, which led to the death of this man, which led to the death. Now, moving on from that, let me address this ongoing story at SOCU. I really am hoping that Mr. Conway comes in so we can talk about these things, have his input about it. Now, but somebody saying a vehicle driving around Essequibo, trade plate and flashing lights for 3 months now. Can you imagine that? Somebody is saying there's a vehicle driving around on the Essequibo coast. It has trade plate, which means that it is not registered. It has trade plate, but it has flashing lights. And he said about 3 months now we drive. And lawlessness. And I'm sure it's somebody who is well connected. Somebody the police will know. They are afraid to go and enforce the law. Because you have a whole set of frightening police now. Everybody afraid. Everybody afraid because what? Victimization. You go and you take the action. Next thing they get you at Eterimbang or some far, Karasabai. In my day, I went to Karasabai a couple of times. We used to call it Chateau's land. Some people are afraid. And sometimes the fear is real, you know. Because if you are a policeman on the coast and you have your family and so on to maintain, and then these unconscionable people, for no reason of yours, just pick you up and send you to Monkey Mountain or Karasabai, some far-flung area away from your family. It can be difficult. It can be difficult, not only for you, but for your family, especially if you have small children, school-age children. It can be tough. So I could understand people thinking about it. I said, why? Let me take the least line part of resistance, turn a blind eye. Everybody turning a blind eye. Let me turn a blind eye. I can understand. I can understand. But it is time that people decide that you took an oath to serve and protect. And you should serve and protect without any fear or favor, malice or ill will. You must enforce the law. You must enforce the law. If you can't enforce the law, then do something else. If you cannot enforce the law, then you must do something else. And the administration and the people who are in administrative position have to make sure, you have to give people the confidence to do the right thing. When I commanded divisions in the force, I used to tell them plain, you go out there and do the right thing. Sometimes you're going to be wrong. Sometimes you're going to be wrong. But once there's no malice, you could be and ask the people who work with me. Once you didn't go out there maliciously and try to arrest people and shake them down, I can support you. Because we all make mistakes. And you might take a decision either to arrest a man or to take some other action, which might later on prove to be wrong. But once there was no malice to it, we are willing to guide you and the time. But now, people leaving the place to go out on the road and make trouble, that cannot be tolerated. So it's a people in senior positions have to instill the confidence in the people below them that once you do the right thing, the system is going to make sure you get a fair hearing. Not somebody come, because people are going to always make allegations against police. And I used to say, there's two types of police people that make allegations against. The very good ones, because if you're very good, especially if you're in traffic, and you're an enforcer, you're going to mash the corner of people that are going to come and make allegations against you. And you will know, you will see through it. If you're a proper investigator, you're going to see through the malicious nature of the allegation. And the other one they're going to make allegation against are the corrupt ones. They're going to make allegation because in many cases, you get to the stage where they can't take it no more. So they go and they make allegation. I used to ask a question. When an allegation is made against a rank, police culture is to deny. Well, now it's not easy to deny because in many cases now, they have video evidence. Everybody get a cell phone, they take out, they record, so it's not as easy now to deny. I used to ask the question, tell me something, you have dozens of police on the road, hundreds of police in the division. Why is it that they single you out to make allegation against you? Why is it? Is it that you're so good as an enforcer? And if you're good as an enforcer, we can know. Why is it you are the one singled out? And more often than not, you're singled out because the person is dishonest, and if you can't take you no more, you're unprofessional. So I'm saying this, that the people in position have a responsibility to make sure that the ranks get the confidence that once they do the work correctly, the force is going to support them. Once they do their job correctly. Not you get cases, and we all know about this, when a man do the right thing, somebody pick up a phone and call some police officer or call some politician, and then all of a sudden the policeman in hot water. He didn't do anything wrong. I can relate to that. I can relate to that from personal experience. Nothing wrong, but because the person who breaks the law has connections, they call, and then you are the person who did the correct thing in hot water because it mat somebody foot, touch somebody car, and the man get some politician. I always remember an incident in Borbies, I wasn't there, where a young, promising policeman in the upper quarantine area, and people gonna know, and he was a cadet officer, right? Doing the work, patrols, heading patrols, enforcing the laws, and so on. Somebody tell the Prime Minister then, Sam Hines complained about the man. And it is alleged that when Mr. Hines, the Prime Minister, went up there, the boy was around, called, he said, who is this? You're the policeman who is giving our comrades a hard time? That is what he's alleged to have said to the policeman. You are the policeman who is giving our comrades here a hard time. By the end of the day, or shortly thereafter, the man transfer. The man transfer and run into a whole set of problems, right? Because again, you are the weak commanders. I would have loved to be a commander and somebody call me and tell me that a man should be transferred under those circumstances. You got to transfer me too. You have to transfer me too. And if you believe it's talking, check. Already you work with me, tell them. Tell them. Headquarters ain't running my division. Headquarters is not going to run a division that I'm in commanding, right? But what happens now? You have a lot of people who are there. They have no they shouldn't be commanders in the first place. But the system allows them to be there, and so therefore they can't make proper decisions. When somebody shout to them, they got to put their tail between their legs and run for cover. That is what you have. So it inspires no confidence in their subordinates. Because the subordinate knows that the commander, whether it's divisional level or sub-divisional level or station level, are weaklings. And in most cases, they know that they're corrupt too. Because the junior ranks always know what is going on. The junior ranks always know that they're out up on the road and they know what is going on. Now, now let me come to this, address this SOCU thing. You know, we know what is the issue with SOCU, and I again, as the teaching part in me, I can't assume that all of my viewers here, hundreds of you, are familiar with what took place. So let me just quickly run it to you. I think 2 Fridays ago, it was reported that an attorney went to SOCU headquarters to represent the client. She advised the client to remain silent, not to give any statement to the police. And it is alleged that Superintendent Ramana from SOCU arrested her for telling her client that she should remain silent. More than that, because apparently even before that, they were told to come back at a particular time, and the lawyer indicated, well, we're going to come back, but when we come back, I have already instructed my client not to make any statement. And the police, Ramana, she said Ramana told her, counsel, in a very commanding way, you will come back at a particular time, and if when you return, your client refuses to give a statement and you maintain this position, you should not, you'll be arrested for what you said, for obstruction or perverting the course of justice. And then he goes on to tell her that he goes on to tell her that our client is compellable. The man using big word, and obviously he didn't even know what the concept is. The man goes on to tell the lawyer that our client is compellable. In other words, he can be compelled to give a statement which might very well implicate himself. You ever heard nonsense like that? So when the lawyer returned now, and they maintain that our client is not gonna give a statement. As a matter of fact, it's even worse than that, because she's claiming that when she returned, our client advisor, because the client was there before her, that he was given a statement. It's not a case where they took a statement from him. It's not a case where they took. He was given a statement and told to sign. Well, then she advised him not to sign the statement. And for that, I hear the officer, she telling she client not to sign the statement. She insisting, arrest her. And the woman was arrested. Her cell phone was taken away. She was taken to some area. And here was the part that really, really aggravated me. When she attempted to leave the office, she's alleging that one of the ranks, I think she might have said Singh or something is his name, stood in the doorway and blocked her from leaving. This is a police. This is a lawyer, a practicing attorney in Guyana who spent, I think, 3 or 4 years at the DPP's chambers prosecuting matter on behalf of the state. She attempts to leave the office because she know they had no right, had no grounds, no lawful authority to arrest her. She attempts to leave. The policeman, according to the report, she said, came to the door and blocked her from leaving. Well, I asked a question on a Facebook page. Had it been a male lawyer, whether they would have done the same thing? And I am saying no. But as we say in Guyana, the eyes pass the female. And it is attorney Emily Dotson last Friday during the protest asked the question too, whether if it was a male lawyer, whether they would have blocked him from leaving. I could imagine them. I have a visual of them going in front of the doorway of the nearby Ryan effing Crawford and Blackity from leaving the place. I get this. I think as either somebody can get us straight right. But I can imagine some people will attempt to push past, and then they're gonna chuck the port. That is part of the visual I have. But it's I pass. They're bullying a female, and I'm sure that if, as I said, if it was a male, they would not have done that. Right? I'm sure. And somebody saying maybe ethnicity came into it. But they would not have done that to a male, but they eyes passed the woman. So the woman eventually left. Now, more than that, so the question is then the lawyer, she works in the law firm of, I think Sean Alikak is the man's name. So I guess she made contact with them, and Mr. Alikak went there. And this is significant. This is the woman who is, well, don't say a woman, it's a lawyer who is bullied, or rights are being infringed by SOCU. So our lawyer, the senior person in the law firm, comes and he calls the Attorney General. And the attorney, I mean, this is not hearsay. The Attorney General says that. So you know they like sue. Only one sue they don't like. But when it comes to SUE, lawsuit or lawsuit, they like sue. But when it comes to SU, no. They aren't talking about SU. They like talking about SUE. So I'm saying what he said. After the tape, the Attorney General said that Mr. Alika called him. Called the head of SOCU, the Attorney General. He come and he dance. He's a constitutional advisor to the police. I mean, what crap you're telling people? So he called the head of SOCU. He also called Romana Khan to him and told him to release the woman. At no stage did he say he called his colleague minister with responsibility for the police or even the commissioner or something like that. And I'm saying that that is not the protocol. There's no way the minister, attorney general, any other person should be calling the head of a unit in the Guyana Police Force, SOCU, or any other unit. I remember some years ago, I can do the research. I think it was in Trinidad and Tobago. Some minister called some police station in some matter, right? Inappropriate intervention. He had to move on. I think he had to resign or something like that. There was an outcry. I'm not sure if it's Trinidad, but somewhere in the Caribbean, the thing. What in Guyana is lawless. So the minister, by his own admission, his own voice, on tape, he calls the head of SOCU and told them to release. So you're giving direction, political interference into the operation of the unit. Yeah, they were wrong. Say they were wrong. There's a protocol. There's a protocol. At no stage did anyone say that they interacted. Even to now, I can't hear anybody interact with the man who sits in the chair and calls himself commissioner. So he is just there as ornament. He is just there as ornament. And again, for those people who are listening and recording, I am saying, and I want you all to contradict me, that is not the protocol. That is not the protocol. Can't have a minister of government, whoever he is, even the president or vice president, calling a department in the police force and give them instruction for bail or any other instruction. No matter how egregious their conduct might have been, there is protocol, there's a chain of command that should be followed. But we could understand, but this I can understand the minister calling SOCU directly, because it is alleged that many of the ranks, senior ranks at SOCU, that's boast that they don't report to the commissioner, even though SOCU, the Special Organized Crime Unit, is a unit within the Ghana Police Force. They boast and they brag that they report to politicians. They don't report to the commissioner, right? They brag. So apparently this is evidence, this is indication that that is the man who run things, right? That is the indication. Because you say you call them. And then more than that, the lawyers came out on Friday. You know, I was so pleased. And they demonstrated in front of SOCU office. I picked up the demonstration very early and I counted. They were like about 18 when the thing started. And I did something and I came back on. When I came back on, when I saw the numbers there, I mean, it was very impressive. It was very impressive when I saw the numbers there. Sending a message. And then the Attorney General in a release, I think the same day he was on NCN, and he's saying, first of all, apparently he got a pre-action letter from the lawyer, either the same day or the day before, where they're demanding 50 million Ghana dollars. So he implying that was too steep an amount. And then he went on to say, and again, I'm not making these things up. When I come to you and speaking out, exposing corruption and incompetence, you go and do your own check. You're going to see what I'm saying. You don't be, according to Ejil now, imagine Ejil yesterday, and you know, forgive me, but when I call them Ejil and the other name, it's because I don't have any respect for them. So, as OPU say, I could call them full mouth. I could call them full mouth because I get no respect for them. They have lost. They tell too much lies, and they have lost whatever little respect I add for them. I'm going to tell you about the next one shortly. So the man is saying, right, that look, she was arrested for less than 50 minutes, something like that. So what? She was arrested. Even if it's 15 seconds, she should not have been arrested. She should not have been arrested. She did nothing wrong. So to bring the time she was in custody into the equation is real rubbish. Is real rubbish. And then he ain't taking into consideration the fact too that she was basically threatened. This thing was premeditated. This thing was premeditated because the lawyer said she was told by Romana on a previous occasion that in a very aggressive manner. Well, she didn't say aggressive, but the words used suggest that it was very aggressive. Counsel, you will come back and you and your client will return, I think it was 1 o'clock or whatever time on this day. And if you maintain the position, you're going to be arrested for perverting the course of justice. Then he went on to say, counsel, all I can advise is that counsel will need a counsel. If you have here rubbish like this, arrogance, ignorance and ignorance. So the lawyers came out demonstrating. Many of them spoke, condemning the action. We would have seen too that the Bar Association, they issued a statement, then they came out. And I think they issued a statement in response to this press conference, or not conference, in media release given by the Attorney General the same day. They came out. I think the Caribbean Media Bar Association, the Commonwealth. So the thing is in the know, the thing is in the news. People saying it and everybody's saying it wrong. And even them will know that is wrong. But this man is protected. This man is protected. And let me say this to the lawyers. I have a lot of lawyer friends and lawyers who represented me, so I ain't hitting at anybody. Attacking facts when you come to here. You know, this is not the first time this man overreached, you know, this Romana character. If you recall, I have related and it's there for the world to see, when I attended the Georgetown Magistrate Court on the 15th of October 2021, for a matter that was before the court, that he summoned me to attend. And in the court compound, the manhandled me and he arrested me for the same offense that I'm at court for. And then the dunce is telling me that they're arresting me to read the caution after charge. And one of the ranks actually put the hand in his pocket and take out the paper. So it showed premeditation. They sit down and they plan what they're going to do. But what they didn't cater for is that Paul Slow know the relevant laws. And I'm not going to subject myself to that. Well, even though they did detain me, they prevented me. And the point I want to make here, that wasn't an Issa story. That incident was streamed live for the world to see. And what happened? A lot of people stayed silent. Mr. Selwyn Peters, my attorney who was there, intervened. Mr. Patrice Henry, who was there, intervened. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Juman Yassim wrote a letter condemning the action. I was represented by Mr. Nigel Hughes and those people, but all the others remained silent. And they would have known as a practicing attorney that the man is wrong. You can't arrest a man in the court compound for matter that he's in the court for, and you don't read caution after charge when the man is charged and already before the court. Right? They stayed silent. But you know, the famous poem by the Lutheran, I think he's a Lutheran pastor, right? When they came for a certain set of people, he did not complain because he wasn't in that group. And then they keep till eventually came for him. That is what is happening. When they went for the politicians, they went after the politicians. Nobody answered nothing because they're not a politician. Then they went after the ex-police officer. Nobody answered nothing because they're not an ex-police officer. Now they come for you. So you see how these things can escalate. Now they come for you. I am sure that if proper action was taken against Romana in my incident, he would have been neutered. You know, they're using me as the attack dog, whether it's the government or SOCU. Look at the cases. All the cases involving politicians, all those high-profile cases, he is a complainant from SOCU. SOCU only got one man instituting these charges. All the charges is Romana. And if he did bright, and if he did no policing, one could understand. All the charges. He is the man. So that he is being used as the attack dog, and it's time to neuter this attack dog. It is time. I want to see where this will go, because I don't believe. And then the Attorney General of Guyana made a statement to say he thought it was water under the bridge. In other words, once he apologized to the authority that should be released, he is suggesting that should have been the end of the matter. Is water under the bridge. He is suggesting that. Can you imagine that? Think about it. A rank in the Guyana police force did something so egregious. He arrested a lawyer for advising our client to remain silent. And the Attorney General position is that once he offered the apology and once he told them to release her, right, he thought it was water under the bridge. And then he's suggesting a thing that they get agenda. The people who came out from the Bar Association have an agenda. That is the state that we are in, and that is why we'll continue to speak. And why can let me tell you this. I will continue to speak because I don't have any fear of speaking the truth. I have no fear of speaking the truth. And let me tell you this, if speaking the truth, I know it upsets them. And if speaking the truth caused me to be silent, you know, we get history. Wadlow was assassinated. Crabby Wing was assassinated. Allison and Mark Benchcap were jailed. If speaking the truth will cause my demise, so be it. I am not going to put my tail between my leg and run. If it is ordained, if Jah said that is the way that I have to go out, that is the way I have to go. He controls everything. The Father, whether you call it Jah, you call it Allah, whatever you call it, he controls. But I am not going to be coward. I'm not going to be afraid to speak the truth. And everything that I say is the truth. Everything. So when I tell you about these things, I don't just come here and talk. I get hundreds of people on Facebook and YouTube watching. I'm not going to come and tell you. And if you want, you can go and check. I mean, again yesterday, Jill sometime recently talking about telling somebody they're intellectually lazy. Imagine that. And Amanza Walton Desir, I don't know, she's the first person who said it about some of the opposition people, some of the government people and their followers. They're intellectually lazy. Ejil pick up the thing now, calling people intellectually lazy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Ejil, the man who says he's a bishop. He said he's a bishop. But remember, more of them are sinners like me and you, even more sinners than me and you. Because I know the story, you know. I know the story. Remember recently at Linden, Bishop, remember recently at Linden, Bishop, you can remember the story at Kitty Police Station with the police officer. I got talk all now, talk off, left off, but I know story. So even though I come here and I say a lot of things that's wrong, I get enough more that I don't talk about. So come to me, come to Sharon, don't come by me funny. I am not afraid to speak the truth. I am not afraid because I was brought up and I was taught that the truth shall set you free. So I will not be afraid to speak the truth regardless of who the person is. So I noted recently, I think it was last Friday, the attorney has filed a civil lawsuit against, well, I don't know, SOCU, and maybe when those things go, you name the individual, the attorney general. That is the time the attorney general is named. That is the time the attorney general represents the police. Not all telling about some, what you say, constitutional advisor. Once a rank is charged or a civil lawsuit is brought against the force or any member of the force who acted in a particular way in the execution of the matter, well, then the attorney general's chambers, he represents the government. He's a government lawyer. He's a government's lawyer. So yeah, well, you come and tell me that he's the constitutional advisor to the police force. So she brought a lawsuit, and let me see where that will go. And you know, the question is also asked. I've asked the question nobody can answer. What has happened to this rank? What has happened to the ranks who violated the attorney's constitutional rights? Are they still on the job, working the same place? I suspect they are. I suspect they are, and they're going to be advised to keep a low profile. You know why? Because they're going to tell them, stay quiet, keep a low profile. This is going to blow over just now. That is the culture. That is the culture. When these things happen, they keep a low profile, and then they're going to emerge. They're going to emerge again and violate someone else's right. Because in the case, October the 15th, 2021, when Ramana and those ranks manhandled me, I made a report at the Breakdown Police Station, same afternoon, in company with my lawyer, Mr. Selvin Peters. Mr. Conway was there with me too, because we were all attending court the same day. I made a complaint. I later furnished them with a detailed statement. Nothing. No one has ever called me to say, well, this matter is being investigated. Nothing. Nothing. The Monday following, I went to the Police Complaints Authority and I lodged a complaint with the Police Complaints Authority about the conduct of these people. On this, that was in shortly after the 15th of October last year. This year, on the 22nd of February, I was called by the Complaints Authority to go there in connection with the same matter. Ramana and Duke were also called there for this investigation. And they told, both of them told the Complaints Authority, they refused to cooperate with the Complaints Authority and basically tell you, like, do what you want, because they were not cooperating with him. And then he said he's going to report the conduct to the commissioner. And I think they said, because again, I have not heard anything more since then. So these people feel empowered to do whatever they want to do. They feel empowered in their duncingness, if that is a word. They're dunce, but they get the support of politicians. They get the support of the administration of the police force, so they can do whatever they want to do. Whatever they want to do, not even a rap on the knuckle, and then they will continue. It will continue. So since then, you don't hear nothing about this matter. Can you imagine the man who sits in the chair of the commissioner of police and even come out with a statement? I don't think he even apologized. The attorney general said he apologized. He, as a man who is the most senior man in the force, he has not even apologized to the lawyer and the people and the thing. All he said that OPR will investigate. But I made a point before I wrote about it. OPR can't investigate this matter. How can OPR investigate a matter like this? The unit is headed by an assistant commissioner. The allegation is made against a superintendent. The man in charge of OPR is a deputy superintendent. How can he investigate? Because the Police Discipline Act says who can investigate. And if you want to tell me it's not being investigated under the Police Discipline Act, you want to say you're investigating a criminal matter, then how come OPR investigating a criminal matter? I just think this thing out, I know dunce like stuff at some of them. So I'm saying, if you're investigating a disciplinary breach, the OPR, as currently staffed, cannot do that. That's what the law said. 1701. Read section 5.3 of chapter 1701, the Police Discipline Act, chapter 71. I'm pointing you to the law. Read what it says. Right? I'm going to read it here. Read what it says. And if you're going to suggest to members of the public that, well, look, it's not a matter under the Police Discipline Act, we're investigating it as a criminal matter, then OPR don't investigate criminal matters. The Office of Professional Responsibility of the Ghana Police Force don't investigate criminal matters. But I said it, that all they do, that's a normal thing. OPR, I want to hear OPR, believe something is being done, and then it dies a natural death. It dies a natural death, right? And more than that, when I was at the Police Service Commission, I looked at matters investigated by the Office of Professional Responsibility, several matters. They will investigate and lawfully, in other words, they're investigating the correct people. Send the file to the Director of Public Prosecutions for advice. In many cases, the DPP will advise disciplinary action against the ranks. And I have seen the evidence that once that is done, nothing happens. Nothing happens. So OPR will investigate, and once they investigate and submit a report, as far as they're concerned, it's done. Right? So even when disciplinary action is recommended, no disciplinary action is taken. That is the state it is in. I have the evidence to support that contention. So that's part of the problem. You don't have officers in the force now who could conduct disciplinary inquiry. So everybody doing their own thing. And then they bluff people in the public, oh, we are going to investigate. OPR is going to investigate, and that is it. And somebody called me in the same matter with the demonstration last week. I just deal with facts. I don't deal with politics. Because I know the way to say you're political and you're political. And people made the observation about the ethnic composition of the people who are out protesting, the liars who are out. They made an observation. So I said, well, that is the state that we are in Guyana, because even an incident like this seems to have an ethnic component. And I always say, kudos to people like Mr. Juman Yassim. He wrote when it was the incident with me, and then he spoke again last Friday condemning, and he said the right thing. He said something very correct. If this can happen at SOCU headquarters in the middle of the day, in the middle of the tongue, with a lawyer, imagine some outside station with some person and the police alone in some area. Imagine what happens then. Imagine what can take place. Imagine, right? Imagine. And then the next thing about this particular incident, you're hearing about Ramana and the other ranks. And I have to ask myself, and I have asked some ex-colleagues, what happened to the people in charge? You ain't hear nothing about them? So this is Ramana. Are they not also responsible for the conduct of their subordinates? And they should go right up to the man who sits in the chair. Right up to the man who sits in the chair. Are they not responsible? A man below you doing all of this rubbish. Right? And all right, his name has been called, correctly so, because he's the man who carry out the act. But nobody else. So he running the own organization, he did the own thing. He's all powerful. He doing the own thing. And let me say this to the ranks who were instructed to arrest the lawyer. The fact that you were instructed by a superior doesn't absolve you from any blame, Because you ought to know, I have said it here before, you cannot be compelled to carry out an unlawful order. And clearly that was unlawful. Section 4C of the Police Discipline Act says that it's an offense to disobey a lawful order given to you by a superior rank, either orally, in writing, or by authorized signals on parade. And here, me I'm reading from no book, This is in my computer, me head. This is in the OPA. Because it's a subject I used to teach over the years to officers and other people. Section 4C of the Police Discipline Act, Chapter 1701, says it's an offense to disobey a lawful order. Emphasis there on lawful order given to you by a superior rank. And the order can be orally, in other words, he could talk to you, can be in writing, or it can be by authorized signals on parade. If it's lawful by any one of those means, you are compelled to carry out. But I'm going to tell you in the office, arrest the lawyer for do something, and she ain't do nothing wrong, and you jump on your arrest, you too are liable. You too are liable. So let's understand this. And I'm saying I'm waiting to see where this matter will go. Because my suspicion is, if it follows the usual trend, the man, they're going to lie low for a couple of morning, and then the man going to emerge again. Or they're going to put it to somewhere, movie from there for a little while. For a little while. They're going to move it, and then the next year, he coming back and he getting promotion. This is the man talking about the promotion thing. In light of all this man did, October, or he's so wrong, October the 15th. Clearly done and incompetent and know you up. The man get promotion from assistant superintendent to superintendent. The man jump rank, pass a lot of people and all this everything. So this just goes to show that the man is being protected. And that is why he can do all these things that he has done and is doing. All. But I will continue to watch this issue. Now, the next issue, this is why we're glad to get Mr. Conway. Obviously, he can't make it at this stage because I've been talking here for over an hour and 11 minutes according to my time. Let me close off quickly with this letter. Last week I should have told you we had two programs last week. We had the regular Wednesday, and I told you that because of this issue, this statement issued by Gail Teixeira, and again, I call it Gail Teixeira because I have no respect for people who tell them type of lies so frequently, right? Respect is something that you have to earn. You have to earn. You can't beat somebody to respect you. You can't do like a certain senior police officer put gun to people's head for have a relationship with them. I understand that is what took place. The allegation was made that a certain man, they put a gun to the head of a policewoman and then made certain demands. And then later on, they struck up a relationship. So I say, let me tell you something. If you study, you must study with the Stockholm Syndrome. And maybe there's a case of the Stockholm Syndrome. You know what is the Stockholm Syndrome? I like teach. So let me give you a quick thing about the Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm is the capital of Sweden. So you hear about the Stockholm Syndrome. It's a case where some years ago, there was a hostage situation where I don't know if a terrorist or thief, I can't remember the full details, took these people as hostage in the bank, I think it was. Can't be too certain. And what happened? Over a period of time, they found that the hostages became sympathetic towards the captors, right? And that became known, a situation like that became known as the Stockholm Syndrome, where the people, you capture somebody, and then over a period of time, the persons who are captured start to sympathize with you and actually join you in the thing. So if you put gun to somebody head for demand relationship, and then later on, the relationship actually blossom and mushroom, then maybe it's the Stockholm Syndrome involved. But I'm saying this to say that respect is something that got to be earned. So I'm going to tell you, the statement issued by Gail Teixeira following, I made a presentation, I spoke about it in detail last week, Thursday, but I wanted to address it again because Mr. Conway wrote a letter yesterday, beautiful, brilliant letter. I read it yesterday morning, addressing the issue where she claimed, one, that I was suspended from the Police Service Commission because I refused to promote persons recommended by the Commissioner of Police acting, 90% of whom were Afro-Guyanese. It was properly addressed by me and Mr. Conway. When we made promotion, we didn't look at ethnicity, whether you're black, you're white, or green. And and I said in the letter, she was being so disingenuous because anybody who can do a little search will see that the promotion was blocked because Senior Superintendent Brutus went to the court and basically got an injunction on the 31st of December 2020, which stopped the promotion. Right? We don't violate laws. So the court said that we can't go ahead. We had to wait until the matter is ordered and determined. That's what we did. And then when the thing was thrown out on the 28th of June, 2021, the police service commissioner went ahead and made the promotion. And then the next day, the 29th of June, the attorney general said openly and publicly that the government would not recognize the promotions, and they have done, and he instructed them not to give effect to the promotions. So to come and say, Paul Slow, stop the promotion. And as Mr. Conway pointed out yesterday, the commission wasn't Paul Slow commission. I know where that would have come from, because in the past, they used to run a one-man show where they would give instruction to certain people in the commission, and those instructions will be carried out, right? But again, all of this happened because, as I indicated, the records are there, you know. The records are there. President called me, he wanted certain people considered for promotion. I said, well, we got rules and so on. And then on the 23rd of December, where we met and we considered in the short list, we spoke the same night. And he carried on why these people being left out and why the people being left out and so on. And then they start the thing, wanted to get me involved in corrupt activities. And because I stood my ground and said, no, we have rules, the rules got to follow, they came after me, trumped up charges and so on. Those are the facts. I'm not going into the charges and all that because they're before the court. I think we had an hearing, I think it was Friday. Matters are postponed to the 15th of December. And then let me say this. Mr. Conway and others, we have charges before the court. Me, I can talk for me. I am waiting and anxious to get before the magistrate and to prove my innocence. Or put it the other way, because I have nothing to prove. They have to prove that I'm guilty of that, and I'm confident that I'm innocent, and the courts will so rule. And here, let me say, I say this to tell you that I am not looking forward to anybody withdrawing any charge. I'm looking forward for my day in court, unlike other people. Then you know what I'm talking about? Other people that they accuse a thief in law book, and they go before the court, and they want it ventilated, so the DPP discontinue. Other people accuse charges, whole set of fraud charges, DPP discontinue charges. So I want the DPP discontinue nothing. I want to make sure that I can go to court and let the matter be ventilated in court. Because I know these people, they have a way of saying that they are correct, but they're still a fight. They don't want the matter to be ventilated in a court of law. I want it to be ventilated. I'm looking forward to my day in a court of law. I'm looking forward to that day. I am looking forward to that day. Right? And then she went on in the same statement to say that Slow is charged with sexual assault of a woman in Guyana. Yeah, a woman said me touch your foot. And you know, since last week, Thursday program, when I explained exactly what transpired without going into certain details, because I've said the matter is before the court, I can't go into all the details. I just laid out what the allegation is. Allegation is touch your foot on 3 occasions. And you know, people have called me, people have messaged me to say, Mr. Slow, thanks for the explanation, because when I hear the talk about sexual assault, I thought they're claiming that you raped somebody or so. I said, no, that's not it. But they're using that term to convey that same impression. That is the term they are using to convey that impression. And then she talking about, if you want to say that a person who's accused is guilty and should not be listened to, your vice president is accused, Vice News, say he taking bribe. So are you guilty? No investigation, you guilty? If you want to use, let's use that. Vice News say, and there's all over the world that the vice president takes bribes to give contract and all. There's no Vice News say. Well, as we say, as I said in the letter too, it's a presumption of innocence until you're proved guilty by a competent court of law. So to jump and to make all of these statements, this propaganda, that is what it is. Because it was only done to try to discredit Slow. But you can't discredit me like that. You can't discredit me. You got too much baggage. You lie too much. People know you're not credible. And you know, this is the countryman thing in me today, you know. Countryman come from the countryman abuse. I ain't wearing skirt. I ain't of that ilk, but I could abuse. So you can't discredit me. You can attempt to, but I through social media and other forum can tell people, and any reasonable thinking person, anybody with sense, right, can pick sense out of nonsense. Anybody can pick sense out of nonsense. So you come spewing all sort of crap about the commission. And I know, as I've said, look, when we took over the commission in 2018, we had this devil's own job to restore some confidence in the commission. Because credible allegations were made that police used to pay people to get promotion. I saw a report, and in the report, the location and the person who used to collect, the collector was named in the report. All of those things are in the report. And you know, I when you look, I recently looked at the report again, and only to discover I had forgotten that some of those who are in senior positions now are alleged to have paid to be promoted. Some of them who are currently in senior positions in the force are listed among the persons who paid monies to be promoted. Some of them pay as much as $400,000 to get promoted. And they boast, that's what the report said, they boast that they're going to get through, right? So you come with the commission. The commission had a case, one of the worst cases, where a man was promoted to inspector. And then the man who was the commissioner at the time called them because Ephraim told him that this man had some matter before the court. And they withdrew the promotion, even though they were advised, well, look, let me investigate this thing. Imagine that, man promoted from sergeant to inspector. And even though the records show that even though when the matter came up, they were advised, look, let me investigate this thing properly. And the man in charge at the time arbitrarily, that is what the report said, arbitrarily went ahead and revoked the man's appointment. And then later on, when another member of the commission investigated just to find out the thing had no merit, then they gave back the man the promotion. So don't come and talk about police. If you want to talk about the police service commission, let's speak about the police service commission. The commission that I chaired, which included Mr. Clinton Conway, Mr. Michael Samarsal, Ms. Vesta Adams, and Claire Jarvis, no allegation ever made against us about taking money from anybody, or demanding favors from anybody, or selling barbecue ticket. So come good when you come and you talk about the police service commission that I chaired. I know, and many of the ranks know what went on before. All them frightened to talk. They got an old pack of cowards now in the system. They're the susu, you know, chief, this, you know, what they're frightened to come out and to see. I could understand to some extent, right? They're frightened. So don't come and point finger and make allegations and believe we're gonna sit back and allow the rubbish to fly. I can't respect a person like that. I cannot respect. No matter what office you hold, I cannot respect you as a person, much less to respect the office that you hold, because you are pathologically mendacious. That's what Katie Knight is. In other words, you're lying bad. And even with this, and you know, the amazing thing is that some of these untruths, some of these lies are easy to verify. Anybody to use Amanza term and well, Ejil plagiarize. Anybody who is not lazy, not intellectually lazy, you can go. The records are right there. The records are there. Do a little Google search. You're going to see all of those things about the promotion and who stopped the promotion and all of that. And Mr. Conway did an analysis yesterday. They're talking about ethnic, now they should have asked why stymie the upward mobility of his fellow Afro-Guyanese. But we didn't consider that. We didn't consider that when we sat down. We considered the pertinent thing, whether you pass the promotion examination, whether you were not corrupt, and that type of thing is what we considered. But that got through the window because the last promotion made in July the 2nd, you would see people with disciplinary matters and other matters were promoted. People with disciplinary and other matters were promoted. So it doesn't matter now whether allegation made against you that you are a criminal, whether you get matters being investigated, discipline and other matters. It doesn't matter. You are promoted. That is what the Guyana Police Force has come to. And that is what you should address, Minister. And now that I know you're watching, not you necessarily, but the people in the ministry who are given the task to monitor. Yeah, tell them slow say. That is what you need to look at, right? So don't come and tell a lot of lies and believe you're going to get away with it. I am going to tell the truth. And as I've said, Mr. Conway wrote a letter and he outlined, and he said the same thing. He did the analysis, and the analysis shows that of all of the, I think he said 8 persons promoted assistant commissioner, 5 are non-African. Then he did the analysis right down, senior superintendent, all of that. And then he went on to point out, if you look at the divisional command now, regions 1, 2, 3, 4B, 4C, and region 6 are all headed by Indo-Guyanese. All. And in many of those cases, the second in command are also Indo-Guyanese. You have an Indo-Guyanese finance officer, you have an Indo-Guyanese in charge of SOCU, you have an Indo-Guyanese in charge of operations. So the evidence is there. Because you are the ones who complain about the ethnic imbalance in the police force. Only the police force is dominated by Afro-Guyanese. But you have a situation now where the senior command positions are dominated by Indo-Guyanese. How do you explain that? How do you explain that? So I again, let me apologize for Mr. Conway not being here, but I'm saying that I am sure that they're messing with whatever it is, the internet or whatever it is. I think they're messing with it. They are messing with it. So I know I talk so much, I forgot to tell you to share the live and all of that. Let me run some comments. Somebody thinking something, somebody abusing somebody. Or somebody said Facebook user say, well, he's not afraid to speak. You know that you're collecting money from people under the table. I know if it's me referring to. But I'm a happy retiree, so you know what you're talking about. Well, you gotta get the crappos, the trench crapo and the jagabats and the amphibians gonna come out. And I said they're easy to deal with. You know, once they push their head out, if it's cockroach, they turn on the light, they're gonna run to cover. And those who manage to get cover, right? They're gonna you just mash them, especially them big German cockroach, you mash them and the thing over. But they're gonna come. They're gonna come because they can't handle the truth. They cannot handle facts. And as retired, the late retired commissioner in phrases said, facts are stubborn things. Facts are stubborn things. Don't go do, they ain't going any place. They are stubborn things. So folks, again, apologize. I think I had a few more issues to cover, but as I said, Mr. Conway is not here. So I hope I have covered some of the issues. If we can cover all of them next week when we meet, we can touch up some more. Hopefully, he can be here next week. But again, I say I'm convinced that they are interfering with the broadcast because they don't want to hear the truth. And let me just remind you too that the program is timed on Eastern Standard Time in the US, which is 1 hour behind Guyana. So when we start at 11 in the US, it is going to be 12 o'clock midday in Guyana. And this will be this is what will take place for the next few months until the time changes back. So, but based on your attendance today, I suspect that this 12 o'clock Guyana time was very convenient for many persons because we had full school. We had full school today. And I thank you for your attention. I thank you for attention. And again, even though they are thinking, I like to warn you about COVID. You don't hear it much in the news. You see in the newspaper, you hear about a 2 case or a 3 case. But you got to be careful. You got to continue to be careful and make sure that you are not infected by the virus. I want to also encourage you, because remember I said they are trying to mess, especially with Facebook. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel, because I have a strong suspicion that before long, they're going to try to get YouTube to, try to get Facebook to interfere with us. They're going to complain about being emotionally distressed, and that I think they are going to complain, and you might find that in the middle of a program, we get knocked off. It happened to in the ring a couple of weeks ago with the Charanda story. people have to run to YouTube. So I'm encouraging you to go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button at the bottom, and you will get the notification whenever this program goes live. And also on YouTube, because I know we see a lot of new viewers and so on, you'll be able to see all the old episodes. I think we are 40 something now episodes, all are on YouTube. So I want to again implore you to go to YouTube and to subscribe. I know that people have been going and they've been subscribing, but I suspect many of you have not done so as yet. So prepare yourself so that when they knock we off of Facebook, we're going to be on YouTube, which appears to be more reliable and cannot be easily influenced. Because remember, the complaint, either complaint to YouTube, there's make complaint, and since they make the complaint, but sometimes YouTube apparently, not YouTube, I'm saying Facebook, don't check out these things properly, and then they knock you off. So go to YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification button. On YouTube, you got to see all the previous episodes, the same name, Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Type it into your browser, it will take you there, and you are going to be in a position where you can continue to follow this program. For now, I want to thank you again for your time. I'm not taking things for granted. I know you could have been doing other stuff, but thank you for your time. Again, apologize to Mr. Conway not being here. On God's Spirit Live, God's willing, next week, Wednesday, at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 12 o'clock Guyana time, you'll join me again for another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Bye for now. Stay good.